Hello students, good morning everyone. Welcome back to the online class. Today we will discuss flow measurement. Okay, so in the last video or in the last class we have seen that what are the types of temperature measurement. So in that temperature measurement we have seen that thermocouple types, and also what are the materials we are going to use for what thermocouples. Based on temperature range and materials we are classified J, K, R, S and T. And also we are discussing about Seebeck effect, Peltier effect, Thomson effect. I hope you people are understood this concept. Again, we are discussing about pyrometer concept. In that also we are classified two types. One is the radiation pyrometer, another one is the optical pyrometer, and also infrared pyrometer. So in your syllabus you are having got only two types of the pyrometer, that is the radiation pyrometer and optical pyrometers. Okay, today's class, we will learn about new concept, that is the flow measurement. So what is the flow? Flow is defined as fluid in motion. The flow may be gas or a liquid. Flow is defined as a fluid in motion. The flow may be gas or a liquid. Nowadays you are going to use the gas as well as what liquids particles. What is that fluid? It is defined as a substance which is capable of flowing. It is defined as a substance which is capable of flowing. That is called as a fluid. It is defined as a substance which is capable of flowing. Next, viscosity. It is defined as a force or a friction offered by all liquids. It is defined as a force or a friction offered by all liquids. These all are called as the definitions which are respect to what flow measurement. Fluid in motion first. Then what is the mean by fluid? Substance which is capable of flowing. You have to flow something with respect to substance. Viscosity, it is a force or a friction offered by all liquids. Next, properties of properties and characteristics of fluid. One is the viscosity, other one is the velocity, density, pressure and temperature. Viscosity, velocity, temperature, density and pressures. These are called as the properties and characteristics of fluids. Types of flow. There are two types of flow. First one, based on Reynolds number or based on layers. So that is laminar flow. As shown in the diagram, you can observe laminar flow. Okay, so this is the figure or a diagram of laminar flow. We will discuss briefly laminar flow. First point, in laminar flow, when fluid flowing through the pipe at a different speed, when fluid flowing through the pipe at a different speed, fast at center and slow at edge, then the fluid particles moves in layer with one layer over the adjacent layer. Means what? So whenever you want to measure the speed of that fluid particles, you take one pipe. Inside that pipe you have to flow some kind of the water. So with respect to that water, you can measure the medium, high and low speed. So in the middle the speed of the velocity is very high compared to side up to that pipes. Okay, so because of in that middle section the pipe of that area should be very low compared to that other edges. So that's why when the fluid flowing through the pipe at different speed, fast at center and slow at edges. Second point, in laminar flow the viscosity is very high. Third point, the laminar flow can exist only at low velocity. It can exist only low velocity, not for high velocity. In laminar flow, the Reynolds number is less than 2000. Next, we will move on to the turbulent flow. As shown in the diagram, We can observe the diagram compared to that laminar flow and turbulent flow. When the particles of the fluid move in disorder manner, when the particles of the fluid move in disorder manner, then flow is known as a turbulent flow. Means what? It will not move in a one direction or any other direction. It will move in a dissimilar or disorder manner. So that's why the diagram looks like a very different manner compared to laminar flow. Okay. So second point, in turbulent flow, eddy movement of the fluid particles are strongly developed. Eddy because the speed is very high. So that's why in turbulent flow, eddy movement of the fluid particles are strongly developed. What is that eddy movement? It's just like a curly spaces. You can look at that figure, disorder movement, that is a curly. As the velocity increases, the laminar flow turns into turbulent flow. Whenever you are going to apply your velocity increases, that laminar flow turns into turbulent flow. So that's why you require in turbulent flow, the viscosity is low. In turbulent flow, the Reynolds number is greater than 4000. Next, we will discuss the Reynolds number. What is the meaning of Reynolds number? It is a very important with respect to in your examination. The number which provided the information about whether the flow under test is laminar or turbulent is known as Reynolds number. The number which provided the information about whether the flow under test is laminar or turbulent is known as Reynolds number. It is given by Re is equal to V into D into rho divided by N. So just it will provide the information or test about what it will provide the laminar or turbulent. So that is known as a Reynolds number. We are going to use one equation, Re is equal to V into D into rho divided by N, where Re is the Reynolds number, V is the velocity of the fluid, D is the diameter of the pipe, rho is the fluid density, and N is the viscosity. There are 2 points very important here. If the Reynolds number is less than 2000, the flow is known as laminar flow. If the Reynolds number is less than 2000, the flow is known as a laminar flow. If the Reynolds number is greater than 4000, flow is reported as a turbulent flow. So greater than 4000, that is the turbulent, less than 2000, that is laminar. We'll discuss the comparison between laminar and turbulent based on Reynolds number. Less than 2000, greater than 4000. Velocity low, turbulent high, viscosity high, low, based on equations, linear differential equation, non-linear equation, movement of layers or particles, movement in layer, here eddy movement. So this is some major difference which are respect to what laminar and turbulent flow. It is also very important related to examination. Next one is the flow meter. It is defined as flow meter. It is defined as an instrument which is capable to measure the flow rate of fluid through the pipeline. It is defined as the instrument which is capable to measure the flow rate of fluid through the pipeline. Okay, what is that flow rate? So again, it is defined as velocity at which the fluid or a liquid flowing through the pipe. It is the velocity at which the fluid or a liquid flowing through the pipe. It is one instrument. By using that instrument, you can measure this velocity at which the fluid or liquid flowing through the pipe. Again, we are going to classifications of flow meter or flow measuring techniques. There are 4 types. First one is the variable head type. Second one, variable area type. Third one, positive displacement type. Fourth one is the miscellaneous type. Variable head type, variable area type, positive displacement type, miscellaneous type. So first we will discuss variable head type flow meter. So what is the operating principle? When a restriction or an obstacle is placed in the path of flow, it produces differential pressure across the that flow meter which is proportional to the flow rate. Okay, so when the restriction or obstacle is placed in the path of the flow, it produces differential pressure across that flow meter which is proportional to the flow rate. It may be venturi meter or orifice split. Means what? If you want to means, so whenever you are having what one flow, so in that flow you are going to apply some velocity. Okay, so whenever if you want to move your fluid with respect to that flow, with respect to what your velocity, so if I use one obstacle in between what your path of that fluid flow, what will happen? Means what? One restriction or obstacle, you can take any obstacle or restriction. So whenever your pressure or that velocity of the fluid will it is in moving in a some direction. Okay, so in the middle of the section I will put one my obstacle or my restriction, so any kind of the particle, what will happen? So that will produce some differential pressure. Okay, okay, you can take anything which are related to any particles, you can put in the middle of that force or that pressure of that velocity in that fluid, what will happen? It will disperse, so that why it will produce some differential pressure. Next we will discuss venturi meter. Okay, so in that variable head type flow meter we will discuss the venturi meter. So as shown in the diagram, you can observe this is the diagrammatic part of what venturi meter. Okay, so first point in that venturi meter, in construction the venturi meter consists of a three sections, that is converging section, throat section and diverging section. The venturi meter made up of steel, iron, bronze. There are some metals you are going to use, that is the steel, iron and bronze. The flow is introduced to meter through inlet. Through that input you can apply your flow. Okay, with the diameter d, capital D, the inclined angle of converging section is alpha 1, which may be between 19 degree to 23 degree. So we are going to measure one angle, that is alpha 1, 19 to 23 degree. The flow is then passed through the throat section. So whatever you are going to send that flow, it will move towards the converging section to throat section, which have the diameter d, that is a small d. Okay, so here whatever that pressure of that flow or fluid is there, so whatever we are discussing the laminar flow, that pressure of that velocity should be very high. Okay, because your area is very less compared to your converging section and diverging section. The inclined angle alpha 2, which may be between 5 degree to 15 degree with the diverging section, so that will move on to the what? Diverging section. The two pressure taps, one at inlet section, two is at middle throat section, are provided to measure the pressure difference by using U-tube manometer as shown in the figure. You are going to measure two pressure taps, one is the low pressure tap and the one is the high pressure tap. Using that U-tube manometer you can measure the differential pressure. Okay, so this is the construction part. In working, only in 2 points we will discuss that working. What is that working? When the flow is passed through venturi tube, the flow first enters the converging section, whose cross section decreases because the velocity of the fluid increases. Okay, velocity increases, cross section decreases, and the pressure decreases, the throat provides for low pressure. Throat provides the low pressure, but velocity is very high. Okay, then the fluid discharges through diverging section. The velocity of the fluid decreases and the pressure increases. So you can observe in three sections. In converging section, velocity is very low. And pressure is very high. In throat section, velocity is very high, pressure is very low, and in diverging section, velocity is very low and pressure is very high. So as per your area wise, you can maintain the relationship between what? Velocity and pressure. So what are the advantages? High flow rate, low pressure loss, useful for large pipe size. It has well-known characteristics. Disadvantages: high cost, not useful for small size pipe. The dimensions of venturi meter are larger. Next one, applications. It is used in wastewater application. It is used to measure the volume of flow blood through vessels. It is used in laboratory. So these are the applications of rotameter. Okay, so next we will discuss rotameter. So what is that rotameter? So this is the diagrammatic representation of rotameter, variable area flow meter. It is one of the type of variable area types. That is the rotameter. What is that operating principle? In variable area flow meter, pressure difference is kept constant by changing the restriction area. You can change that area, but pressure difference is kept constant. The rotameter is a device that measures the flow rate of liquid or a gas in closed tube. Okay, so what is that construction working? First point, the figure shows the construction of rotameter, which consists of transparent glass tube with small diameter at bottom side. At bottom side, you are having what? One small diameter, that is di, and at the top side, dt, which is mounted vertically. dt, which is mounted vertically. Second point, the fluid whose flow is to be measured is entered to the tube from the bottom side. The fluid whose flow is to be measured is entered to the tube from the bottom side. So whenever you are going to measure that fluid of that flow, you can enter in the bottom side. Inside the tube there is a float or a bob which improves the body, which has higher density than fluid. The fluid moves the float upwards. Through that fluid, it will move towards the upwards. The float will rise to a point in the tube where the upward drag force and the buoyancy force is balanced by the downward director weight of the float. The float will rise to a point in the tube where the upward drag force and the buoyancy force is balanced by the downward director weight of the float. When the float achieves some level in the tube, it is direct indication of the flow rate. So whenever you are going to apply your force or a pressure or a velocity through that float, so float will move towards the upward direction and it will maintain some level. So after that, once it will maintain some level, you can measure that indication of that flow rate. So next applications of that rotameter used in laboratories. It is used in testing and production lines. So next we will move on to the orifice plate operating principle. It is a variable head type flow meter in which differential pressure is developed by using orifice plate. So in that you are going to measure the particles or obstacles. Here you are directly going to applying orifice plate by inserting in the path of fluid flow. In construction, we will discuss. This is the diagrammatic representation of orifice plate. These are the plates: concentric, eccentric, and segmental. Okay, so in construction, figure shows the orifice plate. It consists of a circular shape with hole on it. It consists of a circular shape with hole on it. These plates are inserted into the pipe in the path of flow fluid, and differential pressure is produced across the plates. So whenever you are going to inserting your pipe or that plate, it will produce some differential pressure path of that fluid. The orifice plate is made up of stainless steel, phosphorus bronze or nickel, etc. Depending on the location and shape of the hole on the plate, there are three types of the orifice plate is given above. Here the diameter of the pipe D is very large compared to diameter of the orifice plate D. First one, concentric orifice plate. As shown in the figure, it has circular hole at the middle of the plate. It is the most commonly used orifice plate for clean liquids, gases and low velocity vapor. It is made up of phosphorus bronze, nickel and stainless steels. These are some metals. At the middle you can apply your plates, that is orifice plates. Second one is the eccentric orifice plate. In eccentric type orifice, the hole is located at the bottom of the pipe. It is used for measurement of flow of solids, waters, oils, etc. Third one is the segmental. It is similar to the eccentric, and this orifice plate is in which only half circular hole is present. Only half of the circular hole is present, as you can observe in the diagram. It is used for the measurement of liquids, air or particular material. particular materials. Working. What is the working of that one? When the liquid starts flowing through the pipe, it is restricted by the orifice plate. Due to restriction, the velocity of the flow changes. So whenever you are going to apply your orifice plate, it will changes your velocity of the flow. Okay, the pressure of the liquid drops at orifice plate, so this pressure drop is directly proportional to the flow of liquid. The pressure of the liquid drops at orifice plate, so this drop is directly proportional to the flow of liquid. Advantages: first one, low cost. Second one, accuracy is good. Third one, available in many materials. Disadvantages: high pressure loss. Accuracy depends on installation of the core application. It is used in laboratories. It is useful in chemical, food, mineral, paint and industries. So thank you.